In our Resilience Reimagined report, we identify 7 practices for organizations. But how would you know where you are on your journey towards building greater organizational resilience? In the report, we offer a maturity model that has 5 stages of maturity. At the most basic fundamental level, we called that an ad hoc approach to resilience, where it's kind of sporadic and it's not really structured and organized in any way in the organization. Next along is a more reactive approach. So resilience only really becomes important after events, after disruptions, and then the organization for a temporary period seems to be interested and seems to invest in resilience, but that can quickly drop off over time. The next level up is a more prescriptive approach, where it's very much about having the right systems and processes in place for resilience, but it's not really lived within the organization. It's not really embedded into the culture and the way that people work. Next up is the adaptive approach, where resilience is something that really is embedded into the organization. And it's not only the more prescriptive compliance-based approach, which is striving for consistency, but it's also this building adaptive capability, flexibility into the organization, and the organization adapts to emergent events of all different types. And then at the highest level, we've got this generative approach, where resilience is something that really is embedded into the way that the organization operates. Resilience is a key consideration in all of the strategic decisions that the organization makes, but it's also embedded so that everyone across the organization has some ownership in the resilience agenda. I think what's really key here is that different parts of your own businesses might be at different levels of maturity. And what this does is it's not a measure of resilience, but it gives you some ideas of where you might be and what you might need to do to move up to the next level of maturity.
And David, I like the way you've built the model. It specifically relates to the 7 practices as you go through, and it's about, as you mature through the model, it's about then, by the final stages, you truly embedding organizational resilience as a way of being in the organization. And the reason I like that is because, resilience so often can be a short-term thing. We've thought about it, we've done it, now let's move on to something else. This means it's living, breathing, and it's sustainable for the long term if you embed it and follow your maturity model through. It also means that you're looking at resilience not purely as a defensive, but also, as we've talked about, progressive piece. So you're looking to the future, not just about failure, but future opportunities. So it brings that into play as well. So I think it's a really useful way of measuring your maturity. Where are you today? And measuring your journey way through, with that long-term sustainability really being the goal for resilience for the organization.